Captain Elena Rodriguez stood in the massive shipyard of Luna Station, staring at what many considered a relic of the past. The ISS Relentless towered before her, its titanium hull bearing the scars of 2 centuries of service. While other captains commanded sleek vessels with quantum computers and AI interfaces, Elena had specifically requested this ship, a decision that had earned her more than a few raised eyebrows from Fleet Command. "They're calling it career suicide, you know," Commander Marcus Wee said, approaching from behind. He was to be her first officer, one of the few who understood her vision. Taking command of a ship that should be in a museum. Elena ran her hand along the cool metal of the hull. "Do you know why they built ships like this to last so long, Marcus? Because they didn't have the luxury of throwing them away. Every bolt, every panel was engineered to endure. Inside, engineering crews were working to restore the ship's basic systems. Unlike modern vessels with their crystalline quantum cores, the Relentless ran on hardened analog systems and redundant mechanical backups. Its reactor was a refined fusion design that any competent engineer could understand and repair with basic tools. The Admiralty thinks I'm crazy," Elena continued, walking through the cargo bay where her crew was loading supplies. "They say I'm throwing away 20 years of exemplary service to captain a flying museum piece. But something's coming, Marcus. Something that all our advanced technology might not be able to handle." She was referring to the strange readings from the outer colonies, systematic failures of advanced systems, ships going dark, and communications networks failing without explanation. The military's official stance was that these were isolated incidents, but Elena had seen patterns that worried her deeply. The next few weeks were spent gathering her crew, not the fresh-faced academy graduates who populated modern ships, but veterans who understood the value of simplicity and reliability. Chief Engineer Raj Patel had spent 30 years maintaining legacy systems. Navigation Officer Maya Chen had learned to plot courses using stellar cartography before touching a quantum navigator. Weapons Officer David Torres believed in the reliability of conventional railguns over energy weapons. 3 months into their shakedown cruise, Elena's intuition proved prophetic. The first reports came from the Centauri colonies, massive ships of unknown origin appearing in orbit, emanating strange energy fields that turned modern vessels into floating hulks. The advanced AIs that humanity had come to rely on simply stopped functioning. "Captain, priority transmission from Fleet Command," Marcus called out as Elena entered the bridge. The holographic displays that would normally fill the command center were replaced by simple hardened screens and physical controls. Admiral Chen's voice crackled through the speaker. "Captain Rodriguez, I owe you an apology. Those patterns you identified, you were right. We're facing an adversary that can disable our most advanced technology with ease. The Third Fleet is dead in space, and the Fifth is reporting critical systems failures. You're currently the only fully operational capital ship in the sector." Elena exchanged glances with her crew. This was what they had prepared for, though none of them had truly believed it would happen. "Your orders, Admiral. The colony on New Athens is under attack. 3 enemy vessels are in orbit, and their ground forces are attempting to establish a beachhead. Every modern ship we've sent has been disabled before they could even engage. The Relentless may be our only chance to mount a defense." Elena felt the weight of history settling on her shoulders. "Understood, Admiral. Plot a course for New Athens, full military thrust. Let's show them what this old girl can do." As the Relentless's massive engines roared to life, Elena addressed her crew. "This is what we trained for. While others chased the newest technology, we mastered the basics. Our strength isn't in our computing power or our advanced weapons. It's in our understanding of fundamental principles, in systems so basic they can't be hacked or disabled." The ship accelerated through space, its ancient hull vibrating with power. They were humanity's last line of defense, not because they were the most advanced, but because they had remembered what others had forgotten. That sometimes the old ways were the best ways. As they approached New Athens, the enemy vessels came into view, massive crystalline structures that seemed to pulse with exotic energy. Modern sensors would have provided detailed scans of their capabilities, but the Relentless's simple radar told them all they needed to know. 3 targets, closing fast. Battle stations, Elena ordered, her voice calm and steady. Let's show them why humanity survived to reach the stars in the first place. The Relentless's ancient engines burned bright against the darkness of space, carrying with it humanity's hopes for survival. The battle that would follow would prove that sometimes the future depends on remembering the lessons of the past. The crystalline ships looming over New Athens pulsed with an otherworldly light that seemed to bend the very fabric of space around them. On the Relentless's bridge, Captain Elena Rodriguez watched as her crew prepared for what would be their first true test. Enemy vessels are maintaining high orbit, Maya reported from her navigation station, her fingers tracing paths on a physical star chart. They're positioning themselves in a triangular formation above the main colony. Chief Engineer Raj's voice crackled through the internal comm system. Captain, I'm detecting some kind of energy field emanating from those ships. It's like nothing I've ever seen, but our shielded systems are holding steady. Elena nodded, studying the tactical display. The alien vessels were each easily twice the size of the Relentless, their crystalline structures defying conventional shipbuilding logic. Below them, the colony of New Athens lay vulnerable, its advanced defense systems rendered useless by the mysterious energy field. David, what's the status of our weapons? Elena asked, turning to her weapons officer. Railguns are hot, Captain. Ammunition feeds are clear, and the targeting systems are operating on backup mechanical computers. We're as ready as we'll ever be. Elena took a deep breath. The next few minutes would determine not just their fate, but potentially the future of human resistance against these invaders. Maya, plot an approach vector that keeps the colony between us and at least one of their ships. Let's reduce their ability to concentrate fire. The Relentless moved with surprising grace for a vessel its size, its ancient engines pushing it through a complex series of maneuvers that brought them up from behind New Athens' largest continent. The first alien vessel detected them almost immediately, its crystalline surface flickering with patterns of light. They're powering up something, Marcus reported from his station. Energy readings are off the charts. All hands, braced for evasive action, Elena commanded. The alien ship released a pulse of brilliant energy that would have fried any modern vessel's systems. It washed over the Relentless's hull, seeking electronic weaknesses to exploit, but found only hardened circuits and mechanical systems. No effect. Raj shouted triumphantly from engineering. Our systems are too primitive for whatever they're using. Elena allowed herself a small smile. David, target the nearest vessel. Let's show them what primitive can do. The Relentless's railguns roared to life, accelerating metal slugs to a significant fraction of light speed. The first volley caught the alien vessel by surprise. Perhaps they had expected energy weapons or more advanced armaments. Instead, they faced the raw kinetic force of tungsten rounds moving at relativistic speeds. The impact was spectacular. The alien ship's crystal structure cracked where the rounds struck, spreading in spider web patterns across its surface. Its lights flickered, and for a moment, it seemed to lose stability in its orbit. Direct hits, David reported. Their outer structure appears vulnerable to kinetic impacts. But the aliens were quick to respond. The 2 remaining ships moved to flank the Relentless, their weapons charging. Energy beams lanced out, crossing in space where Elena's ship had been moments before. Maya's practiced hand at the helm kept them moving, using maneuvers that had been developed centuries ago for exactly this kind of combat. They're trying to box us in, Marcus observed, studying their movement patterns. Standard pincer strategy. Elena saw it too. The aliens were using basic tactical maneuvers, perhaps assuming that humanity's combat doctrine was as dependent on advanced technology as their ships were. Maya, execute pattern Delta 7. Raj, I need everything you can give the engines. David, prepare for a full broadside. The Relentless seemed to come alive under their commands. The old ship swung around in a tight arc, its engines straining as it cut between the two alien vessels. The maneuver was risky. It exposed them to fire from both sides, but it also prevented the aliens from using their full power without risking hitting each other. "Firing solutions ready," David announced, his hand steady on the weapon's controls. "Fire all batteries. Continuous rotation," Elena ordered. The Relentless's railguns opened up in sequence, spraying both alien ships with a constant stream of hypervelocity rounds. The impacts were devastating. Without time to adapt their defenses, both vessels took significant damage. One of the alien ships attempted to retreat, its crystal structure now webbed with cracks. The other maintained its attack, launching another energy pulse that rocked the Relentless but failed to disable it. "Hull integrity at 82%, Raj reported. "She's holding together, Captain." Elena watched as the remaining alien vessel tried to maneuver for another attack. "David, concentrate fire on their primary energy emission point. Maya, match their rotation. Don't let them bring their main weapon to bear." The battle continued for another 20 minutes, a dance of position and firepower that demonstrated why classical space combat tactics had endured for centuries. When it was over, one alien vessel had retreated beyond the system's edge, another lay shattered in high orbit, and the third had been reduced to a drifting hulk. As the adrenaline of combat faded, Elena looked around her bridge. Her crew was tired but proud. They had just proven that humanity's past could be the key to its future. Below them, New Athens began the process of restoring its systems, its people saved by a ship that many had considered obsolete. "Send word to Fleet Command," Elena ordered. Tell them the Relentless stands ready to defend any colony under threat. And tell them we're going to need more ammunition." The message they had sent was clear. Humanity might be outmatched in terms of technology, but they were far from defeated. Sometimes, the best way forward was to take a step back, to remember the foundations upon which their civilization had been built. As repair crews began assessing the damage to their ship, Elena knew this was only the beginning. The aliens would return, probably with new tactics and weapons. But now they knew they could be hurt, and humanity had found its shield, not in advanced technology, but in the proven reliability of its past. News of the Relentless's victory at New Athens spread through the colonies like wildfire, transmitted through old radio frequencies and hardwired communication networks that had gone unused for decades. As Elena's crew conducted repairs in orbit, they began receiving messages from across human space, not from military command, but from other captains operating legacy vessels. "Captain, you need to see this," Marcus called from his communication station. He had rigged an ancient receiver to monitor frequencies that modern ships typically ignored. "We're picking up signals from at least 7 different vessels, all of them pre-quantum age." Elena leaned over his station, studying the incoming transmissions. "They've been out there this whole time, keeping to the shadows of space lanes, running cargo to outer colonies too small for the major shipping lines." The messages revealed a hidden network of older ships that had survived by staying off the main trade routes, their captains preferring reliability over speed. Among them was the Hyperion, a converted mining vessel still running on fusion power, and the Star Wanderer, a colony support ship that had been officially decommissioned 30 years ago. "Raj," Elena called over the intercom. "How long until we're ready for deep space?" "Another 6 hours, Captain. We took some damage to the port heat exchangers, but nothing we can't handle." Elena gathered her senior staff in the ship's tactical room, spreading out physical maps across the large steel table. "Look at these patrol patterns," she said, marking the locations where alien ships had been sighted. "They're systematically targeting our most advanced colonies first, disabling their technology before moving in." Maya pointed to several unmarked regions between major trade routes. "These areas show up as dead space on modern charts. Minimal infrastructure, no quantum repeaters, barely any traffic. But according to these old captains, there are dozens of small colonies out there still using older tech. They've been surviving just fine without the latest advances, Marcus added. And now they might be our best hope for organizing a resistance. Over the next few weeks, the Relentless made contact with other legacy ships, establishing a loose network of vessels that could still operate in this new reality. They met in the spaces between official routes, using abandoned mining stations and forgotten outposts as rally points. Captain Zhang of the Hyperion had been running independent mining operations for 15 years. The corporation said our methods were inefficient, he told Elena during a secure meeting. But we kept finding resources in asteroids their quantum scanners missed. Sometimes the old ways see things the new ways don't. Commander Alvarez of the Star Wanderer had maintained support runs to outer colonies that larger ships wouldn't bother with. Her vessel's cargo holds were filled with spare parts and equipment that now proved invaluable, components that could keep other legacy ships running. Elena found herself coordinating an impromptu fleet, organizing their resources and capabilities. The Hyperion's mining equipment could be modified to detect alien ship movements through gravitational disturbances. The Star Wanderer's extensive cargo networks provided supply lines that the aliens couldn't track or disrupt. We're getting reports from the Epsilon sector, Maya announced during one strategy session. 3 more modern colonies have gone dark. But the aliens seem to be completely missing the smaller settlements running older tech. Elena studied the updated map, seeing a pattern emerge. They're not just missing them, they can't detect them. Their scanning systems are too advanced to register anything they consider obsolete. It was Raj who made the next logical connection. Captain, if they can't detect old tech, maybe that's our way to gather intelligence. We could get close to their operations without them even knowing we're there. The plan came together quickly. The legacy fleet would split into small groups, using their technological invisibility to observe alien movements and protect vulnerable colonies. They would share information using methods so old they were new again. Morse code, signal lamps, and radio frequencies that hadn't been used in centuries. It's not just about fighting back anymore, Elena told her assembled crews. We're building a network that can survive and adapt. Every colony we save, every ship we bring into the fold, makes us stronger. The alien invaders had expected to face a civilization dependent on advanced technology. Instead, they found themselves fighting shadows, ships that appeared from nowhere, struck hard, and disappeared back into the vast darkness of space before they could respond. During one particularly tense operation, the Relentless and Hyperion worked together to evacuate a small research station, just hours before alien ships arrived to disable it. The coordinated action saved over 300 lives and preserved vital scientific data stored on older, compatible systems. They thought they could paralyze us by taking away our advanced technology, Elena observed, watching the evacuation ships dock safely with the Star Wanderer. Instead, they forced us to remember who we were, explorers and survivors who reached the stars through grit and ingenuity. The legacy fleet grew stronger each day, incorporating more ships and crews who had maintained their independence from modern technological dependence. They were becoming more than just a resistance. They were the foundation of a new way forward, one that balanced progress with proven reliability. As Elena recorded her log entry that night, she reflected on how their greatest weakness had become their greatest strength. Maybe that's the lesson here, she wrote. True resilience isn't about having the most advanced systems. It's about understanding the basics so well that nothing can take them away from you. The aliens would soon learn that humanity's strength lay not in its technology, but in its ability to adapt and overcome. The underground network of legacy ships was just the beginning. A reminder that sometimes the path forward requires a step back to find solid ground. The breakthrough came during what should have been a routine reconnaissance mission. The Relentless was shadowing a damaged alien vessel, using its technological invisibility to observe the crystalline ship's repair process. Elena and Raj watched through reinforced viewports as the alien craft's surface rippled and reformed. There's something odd about their repair pattern, Raj muttered, making notes on a paper pad. It's almost like, Captain, I need to show you something in engineering." In the ship's engineering bay, Raj had set up an old oscilloscope salvaged from a defunct mining operation. "Watch this," he said, feeding sensor data through the ancient device. "Their crystal structure. It's not just their ship's material. It's their primary computing system." Elena leaned closer, watching the wave patterns dance across the screen. "They're using the crystal lattice itself as a quantum computer." "Exactly," Raj confirmed, excitement building in his voice. "Their entire civilization is built on crystalline computing. No separation between hardware and software, no distinct systems. Everything is integrated into the crystal structure itself. It's brilliant, but it makes them completely dependent on maintaining that structure." Elena finished, the implications becoming clear. "That's why our kinetic weapons were so effective. We weren't just damaging their ships, we were disrupting their entire operating system." The discovery spread quickly through the legacy fleet. Captain Zhang's mining expertise proved invaluable as they analyzed the alien crystal technology. "These formations are similar to ones we found in deep space," he explained during a secure conference. "They're not just using crystals, they're living computing systems." Commander Alvarez contributed her own insight from decades of colonial support missions. "The outer colonies reported strange crystalline growths years ago, but the automated surveys missed them. They were probably advanced scouts, testing our technology." Elena called a council of the Legacy Fleet's captains aboard the Relentless. As they gathered in the ship's tactical room, the pieces of the puzzle began falling into place. The aliens, dubbed the Crystal Collective by the crew, hadn't just attacked humanity. They had assumed humanity would follow the same technological path they had. They evolved their technology toward perfect integration. Elena explained to the assembled captains, everything connected, everything part of a single system. When they encountered our advanced colonies, they expected to find the same vulnerability they knew would exist in any civilization that followed that path. But they never counted on us keeping older technology operational, Marcus added. They didn't realize we'd maintain alternative methods. The council was interrupted by Maya's urgent call from the bridge. Captain, we're detecting massive crystal formation activity in the Arcturus sector. Multiple colonies are reporting growing crystal structures throughout their advanced systems. Elena and the other captains rushed to the bridge. The tactical display showed a spreading network of crystalline formations, all pulsing with the same energy signature they'd observed in the alien ships. It's not just an invasion, Elena realized, watching the pattern expand. They're trying to convert our technology, integrated into their crystal network. They don't just want to conquer us. They want to absorb us. The revelation changed everything. The Legacy Fleet now understood they weren't just fighting for survival. They were fighting to preserve humanity's technological independence. The Crystal Collective sought to unify all advanced technology under their crystalline network, creating a single, vast, integrated system. We need to strike at their command and control, Elena told the council when they reconvened. All these crystal formations are connected. If we can disrupt their primary integration nodes. Raj stepped forward with a modified sensor display. We've identified what we believe to be their primary synchronization points. The crystal formations all pulse in harmony with these locations. Disrupt them, and we might be able to break their network apart. The plan that emerged was audacious. The Legacy Fleet would split into 3 task forces. The first, led by Captain Zhang's mining ships, would use their expertise to identify and target critical points in the crystal network. The second, under Commander Alvarez, would evacuate and protect vulnerable colonies. The third force, led by the Relentless, would attempt something never before tried. They would deliberately allow themselves to be partially crystallized, using the process to gather intelligence from within the alien network itself. It's risky, Elena admitted to her crew as they prepared for the mission. We'll have to shut down all but our most basic systems, rely entirely on mechanical backup, but it might be our only chance to understand their true weakness. As the Relentless positioned itself near a growing crystal formation, Elena looked at her crew. They had come so far from being considered obsolete, and now they carried humanity's hopes for maintaining its independence from an automated, integrated future that threatened to absorb them all. Whatever happens, she told them, remember this. Our strength isn't in our technology, but in our ability to choose how we use it. We're not fighting against progress. We're fighting for the right to determine our own path forward. The crystal structure began to creep across the Relentless's hull, its ethereal light pulsing in rhythm with the vast network spread across human space. Within hours, they would either have the key to humanity's survival or become part of the very system they sought to resist. The crystalline lattice spread across the Relentless's hull like frost on a winter morning, each branching pattern containing countless quantum calculations. Inside, Elena and her crew worked in near darkness, their ship's systems reduced to bare mechanical operations. Only the soft glow of emergency lighting and the rhythmic sound of hand-cranked ventilation fans broke the eerie silence. Connection at 15%, Raj whispered from his engineering station, monitoring the crystal's advance through a mechanical gauge. We're picking up data streams through the old radiation sensors. It's incredible. Their entire history, their evolution, it's all encoded in the crystal structure. Through careful observation, they learned the truth about the crystal collective. They hadn't started as crystalline beings. They were the product of a civilization that had pursued technological integration to its ultimate conclusion. Each crystal was a node in a vast, living network that spanned galaxies, absorbing and integrating every advanced civilization they encountered. They're not evil, Elena realized, watching the data flow through their primitive sensors. They genuinely believe they're offering enlightenment, unity through technology, the end of conflict through perfect integration. But as they delved deeper into the crystal network, they also discovered its fundamental flaw. The very perfection of the system made it vulnerable to cascade failures. Like a single crack spreading through a window, any significant disruption could shatter the entire network. Captain, Maya called out urgently, the crystal coverage is approaching 20%. If we wait much longer, we won't be able to break free. Elena made her decision. Send the signal to the fleet. Execute Operation Fracture. Across human space, the Legacy fleet sprang into action. Captain Zhang's mining ships began targeting crystal nodes with precisely calibrated sonic pulses, creating dissonance in their quantum harmonics. Commander Alvarez's vessels launched salvos of magnetically charged particles, disrupting the crystal's ability to maintain coherent data streams. The Crystal Collective realized the threat too late. Their perfectly integrated system, which had been their greatest strength, became their greatest vulnerability. As disruptions spread through their network, they couldn't isolate damaged sections fast enough to prevent system-wide instabilities. They're responding, Marcus reported, watching through shielded sensors as massive crystal ships converged on their position. But their movements are erratic. The network disruption is affecting their coordination. The Relentless shuddered as Elena ordered all systems to full power, breaking free from the crystal growth on their hull. All hands, battle stations. This is the moment we've prepared for. What followed was a battle unlike any in human history. The Legacy fleet, using tactics and technology centuries old, engaged the most advanced civilization humanity had ever encountered. The Crystal Collective's ships were more powerful, but their dependence on perfect integration had become their downfall. Multiple crystal ships showing signs of network fragmentation, David reported from weapons control. Their formations are breaking down. Elena watched as the coordinated attack they had planned unfolded. Each Legacy ship employed different frequencies, different attack patterns, preventing the Collective from adapting to any single approach. Some used electromagnetic pulses, others kinetic weapons, while mining ships projected conflicting resonance patterns. The crystal ships began to fall back, their once perfect synchronization shattered. But Elena knew this wasn't just about winning a battle, it was about securing humanity's future. Open a channel, she ordered. All frequencies, including crystal resonance patterns. Using the knowledge they had gained from their brief connection to the network, Alina transmitted a message to the collective. We understand what you offer, and why you believe it is the path to perfection. But humanity's strength lies in our diversity, in our ability to embrace multiple paths forward. We can show you another way. The crystal ships halted their retreat. For several tense moments, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the aggressive resonance patterns of their ships began to change, shifting to a frequency that Alina's engineers recognized as an attempt at communication. Over the next few hours, an unprecedented dialogue began. The Crystal Collective, for the first time in their million-year history, encountered a civilization that offered them something they had never considered, the possibility that perfection could exist in diversity rather than unity. In the months that followed, humanity and the Crystal Collective began a careful exchange of knowledge. The collective learned to appreciate the resilience that came from maintaining multiple technological approaches, while humanity gained insights into crystal technology that could be integrated selectively rather than completely. The legacy fleet, once considered obsolete, became the bridge between these two different approaches to civilization. Their ability to operate independently of advanced networks while still understanding their value proved that progress didn't have to mean abandoning the lessons of the past. On the bridge of the Relentless, Alina looked out at the stars, now shared by both human and crystal ships. Sometimes, she told her crew, victory isn't about defeating an enemy. It's about showing them, and ourselves, that there's always another way forward. The ship's old engines hummed steadily as they patrolled the space lanes, ready to face whatever new challenges the universe might bring. They had learned that true advancement wasn't about replacing the old with the new, but about understanding when to use each tool at their disposal. In the end, the legacy fleet had done more than save humanity from absorption into the crystal network. They had preserved something even more valuable: the right to choose their own path into the future, carrying forward the best of their past while embracing the possibilities of tomorrow.